So in this video, I'm going to explain how I used eye tracking to optimize my CV and cover letter. Now, these are really small details that you can put into the presentation of your CV and cover letter. It won't take any time at all, but it will massively increase your chances in the application, as it will use eye tracking and human biology to make your application more appealing. So what is eye tracking? Eye tracking is how people look at the screen, and in particular we're interested in how people read text. So first thing I want to talk to you about is the F pattern, right? And the F pattern is how the majority of people read text, okay? And you can see here, it looks like a bit like an F, which is why it is called the F pattern. And what it is basically at the very start of the article, people read the whole thing all the way to each end. However, as the article goes on, they then only just look at the far left column and they don't really read the whole thing to each side. They sort of just scan that column on the left hand side, as you can see from the Fs on these two articles. So that's the F pattern, people focusing on the top of the page and the left hand side. So bear that in mind for just a bit later. Now I want to contrast that to the commitment pattern. Now what the commitment pattern is, as you can see here, it's not people just looking at the top and the left hand side. It's the entire article being read, as you can see from these two articles. However, in the context of articles, commitment scanning pattern only occurs when people are highly motivated to learn, and people are motivated when they know and trust the source, are loyal to the brand, and believe they're in the best place to find the information. Okay? Now, how is this useful in the context of your CV and cover letter? Well, what it means is the recruiter does not know you, they don't trust you, they're not loyal to you, etc. They are just there to read your CV and cover letter. So I just wanted to show you this commitment pattern, just to show you, you will not receive the commitment pattern, okay? You cannot expect the recruiter to read your entire CV or your entire cover letter, because you're not a trusted source of information that the recruiter knows, okay? So the message is, you will receive the F pattern, okay? That is what eye tracking tells us, that your CV and cover letter will receive the F pattern like this. So that's something to bear in mind. And in a second, I'll show you some practical tips to help this. However, first, I just wanted to mention this quote from David Ogilvy. He's been nicknamed the father of advertising. And so this quote is actually quite useful, because really, when it comes down to it, CVs and cover letters and applications, they're basically just advertising yourself, advertising your own skills, and advertising how you could help the business by being in that job. And a famous quote he said is, on the average, 5 times as many people read the headline as read the body copy. When you have written your headline, you have spent 80 cents out of your dollar. And this comes back to the F pattern. It's basically saying people are going to read the headline, they're going to read the top, they're going to read the start of it, but the rest of the body copy they're not going to read necessarily. So what can we do with this information about F pattern, about how we're not going to get the commitment pattern, and how the headline is the most important? Well, basically it means, first of all, good introductions. You need to have a good introduction that captures the recruiter's interest. This may be the only thing they see, so make it outstanding. So in terms of CVs, you want a brilliant personal statement. That's one of the first sections, so you want to make sure that is extremely good. And if you need any help on structuring a CV, check out this video in the top right. And on top of having a brilliant personal statement to start off, you also want to put the most important things first, because you don't want to put your best work experience where you had it at a massive company and you had all these responsibilities, and put that at the very end of your CV, because they're not going to get to it, right? So you want to put the most important and most relevant things to the top of each bullet pointed sections, and then leave the less important things to the end, because it's most important that they see those most important things. And now with cover letters, it means starting with a really engaging open sentence, because that will mean that they're more likely to read the whole thing. So that's what you can take from the first bit about how people focus on the top of it. Now with the F pattern, this is where the eye tracking really comes in and helps you here, is we know that people scan down the left of the column. So what that means is you want to start all your lines in your CV with keywords, and this can be either names, actions, or skills. So you can compare these two images here. The first one is the whole thing, and it's what you're hoping them to read. However, in reality, they are only going to read the left hand side like this, okay? So if we start off with, in February I had the opportunity, blah blah blah, in reality they're just going to say in February, and they're unlikely to read the rest of the line. However, if you start out with a name, so KPMG work, if they see KPMG work experience, they're going to read the rest of that line. They're not going to skip over it. Whereas if they say just in February, they're probably going to skip over it. Now, similarly, with this next one, recycling was a problem at my... They're not going to read that when they just see recycling because they don't really care. However, led a project, if you start with an action you did, led a project, you can guarantee they're reading the rest of the line to find out about the actions that you've took in leading the project. And then similarly with skills, rather than just during my volunteering, which, okay, they don't actually care about the volunteering itself. What they care about is the skills you learn. So if you start off with communication and teamwork skills, you know that they're going to read the rest of the line. So that's what you can take from this about headlines and F pattern, is have really good introductions and then make sure you start your lines and bullet points with keywords, either names, actions or skills. Now I want to move on to a new pattern now, and this is called the spotted pattern. And if you have a look at this article, you can probably guess what it is. And the spotted pattern is where people move to places where the text stands out. So they don't read all this long paragraph. They skip to the bullet point, they skip to the title, skip to the bullet point, skip to the image, title, bullet points, image, skip to the orange bit, skip to the title, bullet point, image. They skip to the interesting parts, right? That's what this commitment pattern is. Anything that stands out due to bullet points, color, bold, any of that. And I've actually got an exercise right now, which you can do right now. I'm going to do it on screen, which will show you how well the spotted pattern can work for you if you use it right in your CVs and cover letters. So just the orientation before the exercise. The average time spent looking at a cover letter is 6.5 seconds. Now that is not a lot at all when you have an entire page. So in this exercise, 2 cover letters which are asking for work experience at a company will be on the screen for 6.5 seconds each. And when the time is up, you want to write down everything you remember seeing in the cover letter. So that can be who they are, what work experience do they have, what's their skill set, what's their motivation, have they done any research, okay? But you only have 6.5 seconds. So I did this with my friend Anch to see how well it worked. And I'll play that on screen right now, and you can also play along as we do it. So get some paper and try this right now, because it'll show you how effective utilizing the spotted pattern can be. Okay, so first cover letter coming up for 6.5 seconds in 3, 2, 1, go. Right, talk me through what you got.
So I got that they're year 12, and in the first sentence, I just read through they want to join our company. No adjective use, so I don't know what their motivations are or anything. And then I skipped over to the next paragraph and got that they've done 2 work placements in some sort of government industry, something. And that's all I got time to read.
Okay, perfect. Right, are you now ready for the second cover letter? Let me know when you're ready.
Okay, I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, go. Right, what happened?
Okay, so year 13 student, he's worked at big 4 companies and he had another work experience, and then he's got leadership experience and worked in teams before. And in the first sentence again, he mentioned something about being interested in the company, I think. So yeah.
There you go. That's what happened when I had that call with him. Those 2 cover letters, you can clearly see how the presentation changed. So here it was just all blank text, and here it was bullet points and bold that I'd used. And these both said the same thing. They both started off with who they are, then it was the research, then they both had their work experience, and then a massive open online course, then they mentioned the skills they had, etc. And then this one, exact same structure, says who they are, has a paragraph of research, says the work experience they have, says a massive open online course they did, says their skills. So they say the exact same thing, however they've been presented differently. This one was just text and the skills were buried inside of it, whereas this one had bullet points and bold. And basically you can see here how the first one, they got these 3 lots of information in the 6.5 seconds, whereas the second one, because it had been presented better, it meant that in the 6.5 seconds looking, the eye caught more things because it tracked down to that bold and it caught more information. So obviously you'd hope that the recruiter is going to read through your entire CV and cover letter for 2 minutes or so. However, you can't guarantee it because it could just be a 6.5 seconds, skip, right? So we have to look at it as in a worst case scenario, and that is 6.5 seconds, which means you want to make it easy for someone's eye to be able to track to all the correct information. Because in this case, the extra thing that it got from presentation is leadership and teamwork experience, and that was the difference between cover letter 1 not getting given the work experience it was writing for, and cover letter 2 getting that work experience. So that's a real life example and shows you how effective this can be. So what you want to do for this step, basically in summary, is highlight your key skills, use bullet points in bold, and it will draw people to important sections. However, don't overuse, because then the effect just gets ruined and it doesn't do anything if absolutely every other word is in bold. And this is particularly useful in cover letters, because cover letters are normally just a massive bit of text and they might not read it. So if you use it in cover letters, it breaks up the text and draws the eyes to some of the key skills. So just to summarize, these are the 2 things you can take away from this video. Due to the F pattern, first of all, have good introductions and start your lines on the left hand side with keywords, either names, actions or skills that will grab the recruiter's interest. And then the second thing is, due to the spotted pattern, you want to highlight key skills using bullet points and bold that will help break up the text in your cover letter. Now, if you're interested, you can have access to this entire document so you can look at it in your own time. Click on the first link in the description. Also, here are the sources I used for this video, so if you're interested, you can click on here and read more about that. If you found this video useful, feel free to leave a like, I'd be really grateful, and check out the channel for other videos on CVs and cover letters. Thanks for watching.